Hello friends, I am drinking an iced coffee because I love coffee and I woke up really early, so cheers. Okay, what am I saying? It's Katie. I forget if I said that or not. I am here today to film a fragrance review. These are like my favorite types of videos. I am fragrance obsessed. That word gets thrown around, but if I had to use the word obsessed in regard to like one beauty product, it's definitely going to be fragrance. I adore it. I have a massive perfume collection and I'm continuously like searching for more. So one of my all-time, well, if I really had to choose, I may say that this is my favorite fragrance house. Like, that could change, but for now, my favorite fragrance house, I've said this before, is Kilian. My favorite fragrance from them of all time is called Back to Black. There are no words. It is exquisite. And I have another one called Vodka on the Rocks, and I have like vials of a lot of their scents. There's actually going to be another Kilian review coming soon where I talk about a lot of their best sellers from their discovery set they did last year. But that's not what today's video is. Today's video is about the limited edition Bergdorf Goodman exclusive Kilian scent called Do It for Love for Linda. If you don't know what Bergdorf Goodman is, oh my gosh, it is the most exquisite, unique, amazing department store in New York City. It's the only one in the world. But the good news is that they have an online, site, just like most places do these days. And so you can definitely access this fragrance. I also believe that on the Kilian website, they have it as well. When I went to New York a few months back, my friend David and I, who he's basically as obsessed with fragrance as I am, and Kilian is kind of our thing, we spent like a whole day at Bergdorf Goodman. When we went to the Kilian counter, the big thing there was like asking different departments if there were any Bergdorf exclusive items, because sometimes designers, whether it's like makeup or clothing, it can be any product, it doesn't matter, but there might be like an exclusive of that item that's only sold at that store. For example, Bond No. 9, another one of my favorite fragrance houses, they have an exclusive scent made for Saks Fifth Avenue. So that happens. But the thing with Saks is that there are multiple Saks Fifth Avenues across the country, whereas again, there's literally one Bergdorf Goodman. So it brings the exclusivity level like up times 100. So the sweet gal who helped us, her name was Stella, she told us about this fragrance called Do It for Love. She has also been sweet enough to send us samples. I have not purchased this fragrance, but I have worn it and tested it a lot. It's definitely on my wish list, which like is never ending. An email that I got today said that it was limited edition. So that, of course, that buzzword makes me want to like go out and buy it right this second. Which I'm not going to, but I want to. Here is a picture of what the bottle looks like. So first of all, I love the name, Do It for Love, and it's for Linda. Linda is, I don't think she's the CEO of Bergdorf Goodman, but she's like I should know this. She's right here, it says on here, she's the women's fashion director at Bergdorf Goodman. So yeah, I'm sure there's also a men's fashion director, but she's up there in the realm of Bergdorf, you know what I mean? Let's start off by talking about what notes are in the fragrance. I have my little sample here. So the notes in this fragrance are vetiver, neroli, jasmine, bergamot, petitgrain, and orange blossom. Petitgrain was something that I definitely didn't know what it was and I had to look it up. It is an essential oil that is extracted from the leaves and green twigs of a bitter orange tree. So that kind of ties in there with like that orange blossom. This is extremely unique. I would say it's kind of like unlike anything else I've really smelled, and it would be hard to put it in a specific fragrance category or like a traditional fragrance category such as spicy, gourmand, fresh, earthy, etc. I mean, it has some earthy, it has some floral. I wouldn't say that it's sweet, but I did write down some notes about how this has worn on me. So it's definitely multifaceted. There are so many different layers to it. It's really complex. As I mentioned, it's floral, it's earthy. There is a touch of sweetness to it, and I think that sweetness is coming from the orange blossom. When I wore this, like I wore it again today, but I tested it specifically a few days in a row to really get the notes down for this video. I noticed that the bottle smelled, like I said, earthy, floral, kind of fresh, kind of sweet. In about 20 minutes, that sweetness started to really develop on my skin. Of course, skin is the last ingredient in every fragrance, so it will be a little bit different on every person. But some more of that sweetness started to develop. Like I said, 20 minutes, like pretty much right away. It almost started to give me a sweetness like a tonka bean. It almost started to smell like that rich tonka vanilla. Now that's not a note in this fragrance, so I don't think that's actually what, what's happening, but just that combination of some of those scents with my chemistry started to give me that sweetness. Not gourmand, not too sweet, nothing crazy. Tonka is really... A lot of people like tonka. Like, it's a very pleasing scent, I think, to most noses, but it is one that sometimes gives me trouble. It's very rare, knock on fake wood, that a fragrance gives me a headache. I know some people in this world like can't do things with fragrance, and I literally feel so badly for them, I can't even explain it to you. But I'm not one of those people, and there have been very few fragrances in my life that have given me that like headache feel. Typically there's something that have tonka bean in them. The Jo Malone tonka, what is it? The one that's the Cologne Intense. What is it called? Let me look it up because it's gonna bug me. The Myrrh and Tonka Intense Cologne. That's such a pretty scent. But then like when I've sprayed it on, I just like can't really do it. I feel like I could maybe do a candle in that one, but on the body it's a bit much for me. Another one that really did give me a bad headache was by Atelier, and it was the Vanilla Absolute. I absolutely loved the way it smelled in the bottle. I got it as a gift, and then I wore it a few times. I tried to like force myself to do better, but it gave me a headache. Anyway, okay, so Tonka, it gives me a touch of that, but nothing crazy, doesn't induce any headaches or anything. As the time went on though, so about, 5.5 hours into wear, and it could have started to develop before that really, but that was kind of when I really started to notice it. I noticed that it smelled a lot more green and citrusy and fresh. So back to me saying that it's multifaceted and it's complex. It goes through stages really, which that's a really cool thing about fragrance. There are certain fragrances that will smell the same in the bottle, on the skin, and throughout the day, and that's fine. Like, that's not bad. That's just the way some fragrances are. Whereas some of them literally take you on like a journey where they kind of transform throughout the day, depending on how long they've been on you and like stuff like that. And this for me is definitely one of those. That's also part of what really makes it appealing to me. It's back to that exclusivity factor. I really don't think anybody would be able to like identify this scent. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't smell like anything that I've ever smelled before. Another thing I noticed, like when I got home at the end of the day of wearing it, I noticed that, and this is like normal for any fragrance, the part that I would spray on my clothes, because I spray like 1 or 2 sprays on my shirt and then obviously on my body as well. The part that sprays on my shirt remained pretty true to like the bottle smell like the whole day. But then the stuff on my body, when it mixed with my chemistry, is where it started to develop into all those different layers. The longevity factor, I'm gonna give it like a pretty good rating. It's definitely, Kilian's a high-end, really like high-quality, well-made fragrance, and so it lasts all day. And probably like 6-7 hours of solid, like good, maybe even more, honestly. I'm gonna spray a little bit more right now just so that I can kind of like smell it again, describe it again. But yeah, the longevity factor is really good. I would say that this is probably more for like the fragrance fanatic or the person who, oh, it's so good. Yeah, when you first spray it on. Okay, so I can definitely smell that orange blossom, and it's giving me some semi-sweet vibes. I can smell, what other notes in there can I smell? The jasmine a little bit. I think the jasmine is also what's making it sweet. You know what it kind of is reminding me of slightly? Are you guys familiar with Lush? The Karma cream from Lush, which they also turned into a fragrance, Karma. I want to say Karma has patchouli in it, but I think it also has like jasmine, neroli, vetiver. I think it might have some of these similar notes. And again, this is a very unique, different scent. It's not like Karma entirely, but right now when I just freshly resprayed like a little mist on me, it kind of gives me that unique smell. And so in summary, I highly recommend that if you can, try to smell this. I know it's hard because unless you live in New York, you're likely not really going to be able to get it without just blind buying it. But you might be able to get in contact with somebody at Bergdorf Goodman. They have really good customer service. And Kilian, the website, might be able to send you samples as well. If you're a fragrance fanatic, if you're a Bergdorf Goodman fanatic, if you're a Kilian fanatic, like, I think this is a must-have. I think I'm going to repeat this word again. It's incredibly unique. It's incredibly, like, fun and just cool and different. And in terms of what season I think it's appropriate for, maybe spring is like the vibe it's giving me the most. But quite frankly, I think because it has like so many layers, it's going to suit you just fine anytime, any place, any day, any time of year. Like, that's truly the vibe I'm getting. And it would actually be a really cool like signature scent just because it is so unique. So that's my 2 cents on the Kilian Do It For Love for Linda Bergdorf Goodman exclusives. Again, also available on the Kilian website. I hope you liked this video. Please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're into fragrance, because I love to talk about fragrance as often as I can. Drop me a comment if you've tried this fragrance or if you've been wanting to. Any other fragrance recommendations you have, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Love you. Bye. Do I look like a freaking idiot in this outfit? I feel like I do. Like I should have like a low neck, not a high neck. We're just gonna make it work, okay? Moving on.